In October, when I was in Japan, the biggest surprise out of the Honda camp was the Prelude. No one was expecting it. And we knew it was going to have electrified powertrains. And in fact, David Chow and I from Automotive Press, we both thought it was going to be a fully battery electric. And then we learned later on that day that it was going to be a hybrid. The problem is that the hybrid technology Honda's currently using, there's nothing fun about it. It's luxurious, it's smooth, it's super refined, but it is anything but fun and exhilarating. And in today's news, the Prelude just got announced for Europe. And with the quotes we're hearing, we're going to try to piece together what might happen to the Prelude in this powertrain. Can hybrids be fun to drive? That is the question. Can Honda come out with a fun to drive hybrid powertrain and debut it in this Prelude? Let's get into it. If you guys are excited for the Prelude, smash the heck out of the like button. To them, it's kind of the culmination of over 2 decades, past 25 years, with the Insight, the CRZ, NSX. Now they have the Honda NSX over there, but it was still made in Ohio alongside the Acura NSX, same exact vehicle. And then they have this Prelude kind of seemingly being a torchbearer of hybrids for Honda going forward. Now, the CRZ for the time was one of the most exciting vehicles. Now, I've never driven one. Their design still holds up to this day. It's kind of that pocket rocket mentality of the CRX, but embodied in a more modern vehicle with a hybrid powertrain that had a manual transmission. So did the Honda Insight. That had a manual. The CRZ had a manual. That was the last manual that I'm aware of that we've ever seen in not only a Honda hybrid, but in any hybrid on the market, at least here in the United States. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was anything but exhilarating, 0 to 62 or 100 kilometers per hour in 9.1 seconds. And that was a nice bump from the 12 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in the first gen Insight. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, around 3.3 seconds for the NSX, and even faster for the Type S. But of course, that didn't have a manual. And then now we have the Civic Hybrid. Now, the Civic Hybrid sedan and hatchback have just now been launched in the United States. In fact, I think only the sedan hatchback is available right now, and I cannot wait to drive it. I will be driving the hatchback hybrid in September, so stay tuned for that. And I can't wait to get one home so I can test the fuel economy and fill it back up to see what kind of real world fuel economy we can see in these vehicles. But it's an improvement, down 0 to 62 miles per hour in 7.8 seconds, definitely faster than the 9 plus we saw in the CRZ. And then they mentioned the ZRV, which has that hybrid powertrain, which is the HRV here in the United States, and it still doesn't have that powertrain. But if it doesn't come next year, I'll start raising some hell with Honda and asking them where the heck is the hybrid on the HRV as Corolla Cross just licks its chops as being the only hybrid in the segment here in the United States. So they kind of have this history of Honda hybrids. We never even got the Fit, which is their Jazz. We never got that as a hybrid. That would have been fantastic. And we still don't have a plug-in hybrid of the CRV. Wait, hold on. We do have a plug-in of the hybrid of the CRV, but it's as a fuel cell. So it's essentially, it doesn't exist. Now that we have the history of Honda hybrids just real briefly covered, let's get into the Prelude here. And this is supposed to be potentially a game changer for Honda. So Honda marks 25 years of pioneering hybrid success with the European debut of the Prelude Concept as it announces the return of the nameplate to Europe. They wouldn't be able to do this unless it was a hybrid or a battery electric vehicle. And it's making its public debut at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, which, oh, and by the way, Lotus has just crashed their 2,000 horsepower EV straight into the hay bales. And you see the plume of burnout, and it just went straight into the hay bales right at the entrance. So they made about 50 feet, and who knows how many millions of dollars that prototype cost. But the Prelude, they're claiming, is going to deliver joy of driving via perfect balance of driving dynamics and fuel efficiency. Prelude made its first European debut 45 years ago and served as a thrilling high-performance showcase of Honda's cutting-edge technology for 5 generations until 2001. Now, the name Prelude refers to an introductory piece of music and appropriately positions a car as a forerunner to future models that embody Honda's commitment to sports performance. An example of Honda bringing the joy of driving to customers across Europe. If it has the same powertrain, the same 2-liter hybrid with 204 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque as the Accord, the CR-V as the Civic, if it has that same powertrain, how could they name it the Prelude, being a forerunner to future models that embody Honda's commitment to sports performance? It showcases nothing if it has the same powertrain. Tomoyuki Yamagami, chief engineer and large project leader of Honda Motor, says the new Prelude not only marks the latest chapter in our ever-evolving hybrid story, it is also the product of 25 years of pioneering hybrid research and development. Okay, so the latest chapter. It's starting a new chapter for Honda hybrids. It cannot be the same we currently have on existing models. They say ensuring this model maintains its sporting DNA by perfectly blending the efficiency and environmental advantages of electrified driving with an exhilarating experience behind the wheels. You cannot have an exhilarating experience with the current 2-liter naturally aspirated hybrid with 204 horsepower. It is good. It is not exhilarating. And this liberates users from their daily lives with increased driving pleasure. Now, we'll get into what Honda could be working on here in a little bit, but here's what we have to send us out with Yamagami-san. In addition, the Prelude demonstrates the continued importance of hybrid powertrains as part of Honda's automobile electrification strategy, a key step towards our commitment for 100% of our new vehicle sales to be battery, electric, or hydrogen fuel cell by 2040. So what's going to bridge that fully electric gap by 2040? Hybrids and plug-in hybrids. Now, in Honda's business briefing earlier this year, they talked a ton about battery electrics, the new technology, new platform, making things more compact, more aerodynamic, more efficient, all that good stuff. That will be coming in 2026 alongside of the Sony car, the Afeela, co-developed with Honda, of course. And they talk about batteries, all that fun stuff, new architectural changes, battery castings, all that good stuff. They even give us a roadmap of battery electric EVs. I'm honestly not, I'm excited for it because I'm excited what Honda can do with BEVs once they put all of their effort behind it. But what we really need right now and into the future still are hybrids. Here we go. This is what they had to say earlier in the year. Achieve both further improved fuel economy and high quality and exhilarating driving experience. That's lining up very well with what we heard in the press release from Yamagami-san and the new Prelude. Improved fuel efficiency and a more exhilarating driving experience. This will be lighter and more efficient. And renewed platforms will be more efficient and shared by more models, okay? So this is all lining up, and you can take it with a grain of salt, but it's lining up that the Prelude will debut the next generation Honda hybrid technology, being lighter, more efficient, and more fun to drive. And it will then be trickled down into adjacent models in the lineup, okay? It will be shared by more models, and that's what Honda really struggles with right now. Their large platform vehicles, the Ridgeline, the Passport, the Pilot, the Odyssey, it's crickets. There are no hybrids for them. So it needs to be shared with more models, and this new hybrid technology will do that. Also, it starts in 2026. Introduction starts 2026. I mean, again, the Prelude refers to an introductory piece of music and appropriately positions the car as a forerunner to future models that embody Honda's commitment to sports performance. An example of Honda bringing the joy of driving to customers across the world, not just Europe. If it's an introductory piece, is that introductory piece going to be 2026 like we see in the slides? Or is it going to be before that? All right, when is the introductory piece coming? That is a question. All right, what kind of technology are we going to have here? If Honda doesn't equip this with all-wheel drive, the Prelude, and they only give it front-wheel drive, they're leaving opportunity on the table. In my opinion, it's got to have all-wheel drive in the Prelude. If they're going to showcase next-gen hybrid tech in this thing, they got to put an e-axle in the back at the bare minimum, in my opinion, to supplement the driving force to the front wheels. And this was talked about before the FL5 came out, the current Civic Type R. They were talking about, hey, it's going to be a hybrid. And we were expecting Honda to be able to provide all-wheel drive out of that Type R. I mean, we know what happened, right? They just kept it front-wheel drive. It's one of the best front-wheel drive cars to ever be made, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. It seems like they wanted to postpone that technology for another sporty car, which was the Prelude. And maybe this technology is not worthy of Type R quite yet. And so they're like, okay, well, we can't bring it out in the Civic Type R or the Integra Type S. Let's give it to another sporty car, but not give it the Type R nameplate. That could be what's happening too. Anyways, all-wheel drive. This is something that Toyota's been doing since the late 2000s with the RX hybrids of old. They don't have a mechanical linkage like Honda or Hyundai with their hybrids. Now, there are benefits to having mechanical linkage. You can provide a lot more power and torque to the rear differential, to the rear wheels, with a propeller shaft. But it comes with weight, it comes with cost, and it comes at a drag to acceleration and fuel efficiency. Now what they're going to be doing, and what's interesting here, is look how big they made the rear drive unit look compared to the rear differential. I mean, Toyota does have different sizes of e-axles for the rear. If we look at the RX 500H, for example, that has a 80 kilowatt motor in the back, if I remember correctly. We see that also in the BZ4X, but it's in a hybrid, and it has about 100 horsepower potentially that they can send to the rear wheels. And they're saying it's going to give us better driving force output and more precise and responsive control. I mean, they don't have any other slides for that, but they do have commitment to hybrids and investing into more ICE and hybrids through the fiscal year 2031. So hybrids aren't going anywhere for Honda. In fact, they're going to be increasing the variety of hybrids. They're going to be increasing the efficiency and power of these hybrids, and they're not going to be stopping anytime soon. And who knows, are they going to be fully battery electric and fuel cell by 2040? I have my doubts. Honda is one of the greatest engine makers that the world has ever known. An internal combustion engine is the heart of Honda, absolutely. So in 2040, it could be an electrified only Honda, but with no internal combustion engine, there is no Honda. That's how I see it. And there's no mention of batteries here, unfortunately. You can't have a hybrid without a battery. So we don't know what kind of battery technology, how large of batteries, if they're going to be plug-in hybriding. I'm sure they will. There's no way they're not using plug-in hybrids here. Will the Prelude be a plug-in hybrid? I highly doubt it. What I would like to see to make it a fun to drive hybrid, I want to see 1.5 turbo hybrid with all-wheel drive. That should give us 250 horsepower in all-wheel drive, and it should be fairly lightweight. It should be fun to drive. If they do a next-gen naturally aspirated 2-liter, it better be pretty fantastic, because the current one is just not a sports enthusiast driving car. But no matter the engine, the turbos, the battery, none of that matters if Honda can't fix the Achilles heel of their current systems, in my opinion. All right, well, they have two Achilles heel. Highway efficiency is not very good. In-town efficiency is great, but highway efficiency struggles compared to the competition. And also where they struggle to the competition is responsiveness. From a line, Hondas have some of the greatest response of their hybrids. Boom, you get hit with immediate torque, and it drives just like an electric car, except, the gasoline engine does chip in, but it's not doing anything to power the wheels. And that becomes a problem when you're up to speed. Honda hybrids, when you're up to speed, you press a gas pedal and you're waiting. First, you're waiting for the engine to kick on if it's not on, because there's not enough juice from the battery to give you the acceleration you need. So the engine has to kick on to provide the generator power to power the battery and then the front wheels. So it's just, there's too many steps going on. How Toyota circumvents this is that the engine has a direct linkage to the front wheels immediately. So you press the gas pedal down, the engine fires up, and that power is going straight into the wheels, and you're not having a step in between of the energy going to the generator, to the battery, then to the wheels. It goes straight into the wheels with their power split device. They call it an eCVT, but it's completely different than Honda's eCVT, which mainly acts as a series hybrid. So if they essentially turn their hybrids into Toyota hybrids, it's better for Honda, in my opinion, except give it a little bit of Honda-ness. Make them even more fun to drive than Toyota hybrids. Make them lighter, make them more playful. Whatever Honda can do, I believe that they can do it, but they got to fix those two things to make this a really exciting prelude into upcoming hybrids. Fix highway fuel economy, make them more responsive and more fun to drive, especially from an enthusiast aspect. That's it. I'm going to end it there. Long live Honda, long live the Prelude, and I cannot wait to see what Honda does with this next-gen hybrid system that will be, and I'm certain of it, but time will tell, that will be debuted here in the Honda Prelude. Thank you guys. Peace.